Well, great pleasure to speak to you both, and congratulations on the film. It's so wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I think I know you guys were really trying to create an environment in which you could just kind of act automatically. You could just respond to each other, respond to these performances. To what degree in both of your careers did you learn how to trust yourselves? At what point did you really learn how to trust yourself? Was that something that was always there?
That's a good question. Florian, do you know?
No, I think that it's just a mix of instinct and desire to tell a story. It's not only about us, it's about, a story that we felt that had to be told. And, you just try, you never know. It's a journey with a lot of doubts, but the conviction has to be higher than the doubts.
I think just time passing gives me a bit more, confidence. I know what I'm doing now. I think, well, you never get to the point where you really feel like you know what you're doing, but to trust yourself, or because I know I can make mistakes, I think that helps. Yeah, so I trust that if I make a mistake, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I'm going to think about that question later and have a much better answer. Sorry, go on. That was really good.
Come back to it, by all means. But I mean, ultimately, the tone of this is like you're making. I mean, it's a horror film in a lot of ways. It's taking what we all fear and making us experience it for real. But I know, you're a very joyful actor. Anthony is a very joyful actor. Not, how do you find the balance between that? But to what degree is creating a joyful set environment conducive to being able to tell a great story like this with real, deep emotions?
I think it's so important to feel safe and secure. Anyone who tries to sort of break you down and make you feel absolute nonsense. If you feel safe and secure and you trust everyone around you, you can go anywhere with any amount of emotion. And I will debate that till the cows come home with anybody who thinks you have to have a vile director and a toxic environment. It's utter nonsense. So Florian wrote this beautiful script and then was the gentlest, most intelligent leader of this ship. Anyone felt that they could do anything, and everyone wanted to do the right thing for him. So because he was so lovely. If you get someone who's an arsehole, you don't want to do nice. You don't want to do good work for them.
Yeah, absolutely. What was the best impression that Anthony was able to give you guys?
Oh, picking a good one. Jimmy Stewart was one of my favourite ones. Did you see that one, Florian?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, that's a good one.
Did you share any back?
No, I'm rubbish at impressions. I can't. I'm terrible.
What's the easiest way to make Anthony laugh?
It's too easy, really. He's so ready and up for a laugh. The slightest joke or pulling a face, and he's excited to be having. He loves life. He loves being alive. He loves working. He's ready for a laugh. He's the most joyful man you could ever meet.
What's lingered most in your guys' mind after this experience? Looking back at the filming of this project.
Well, Florian?
I'm sorry, I'm not sure I understand. I hear the question.
What's stuck in your mind since? Like, what do you think back to the most about making the project?
It's hard to tell. For me personally, it was the most intense and joyful experience, and I'm so grateful because it happened with the most talented people, and Olivia and Anthony and the whole cast. So it was something I think the most joyful experience of my whole life,
Yeah, absolutely. And for you, Olivia?
Well, I know that I had no problem getting out of bed every morning. I was excited to go to work. I thought I'm part of something really beautiful, and I'm working with lovely people. I love my work. I love working. I love going to work. But every now and then you get one that's really special, and this felt special. And I'll be eternally grateful to Florian for writing it and letting me be in it and letting me act opposite Anthony Hopkins. I can die happy now that that's happened.
What was on your mind predominantly when making a film like this? Like, what do you focus on during the production of a film like this?
I think with a part like this, especially one that is, in the script, he's actually a bit of a fusion of the character as he is and the character mixed up with another one in the head of the protagonist. So some of the things that through cutting it seems like my character is doing, there might not be, because there's two characters. There's one who's working in the home that he ends up in, who may or may not be physically treating him a certain way, and my character who clearly is struggling with some resentment towards him at the stage we get to, but he's not necessarily doing the things that Tony's character thinks he's doing. He's mixing them up. But I think still, my job and what I concentrate on doing is trying to make, no matter how I might judge what my character is doing or feel that I personally wouldn't do that or would like to think that I wouldn't do that, try to find the version of myself that would, without signaling that I'm better than that. Because, we'd all like to think we're better than that. But, I think one of the challenges of dealing with someone, this is what it forced me to realize, dealing with someone who's struggling in that way with the sense of who they are and their memories, etc., is it doesn't bring out the best behavior necessarily. I mean, what I do know about dementia and similar illnesses is that actually, I don't know whether it's dependent on personal history or character or just luck, that people, when they lose a sense of themselves in time, they can be fortunate or unfortunate enough to be stuck in a delirium that is terrifying or pleasant. I've known of people who've had people in their lives who through dementia have become happy and kind of like lost in the kind of 6-year-old, days of childhood, or in a torment, but that doesn't necessarily bring out gratitude, good behavior. That the challenge is if someone who has no idea how they behaved yesterday, no idea so you are required to behave with patience in a world where there will be no memory or record of your patience. So it can be a challenge, or let's say that you don't get points for every day where you didn't give in to casual cruelty. You could be in a situation where you feel impatience towards someone for 3.5 years and do not express it, but then you do. To comfort yourself with the idea that that will go into an abyss that is not remembered might be tempting. And that's a horrible thing to think about. I mean, that's the character I'm playing as someone. We see him in those moments when he's failing, so I suppose for me that the job was to not so much not let my character off the hook as not let myself off the hook in terms of what's the version of me where I would do that. It's not a very nice thing to think about.
Yeah, and ultimately you're kind of creating the tone of a horror movie here, but to what extent are you able to feed off the energy that your fellow actors are bringing to the set? Because obviously I think Olivia and Anthony are both very joyful actors as well. How did that sort of affect you?
Well, you might not think it, but that's what I'm like too. I mean, I like to have fun on a set. I'm not a particularly serious person. That's why when people meet me, they're often surprised because I often get cast as these very dour, humorless twats, that we had a very similar outlook, as though it was a very fun, easy, silly. I mean, there was a lot of silliness, especially me and Olivia. I felt like that, that we were going to be separated, like, made to sit apart or something. But that was the joy of it, as I looked forward. But Tony too. I mean, there was a lot of stories and jokes. We'd eat all our meals together. We come to the same set every day, eat our meals in the same place. There were no dressing rooms or trailers. There were little rooms that we went to, but most of the time we're in the same makeup room, telling stories and jokes and, you know, fart-arsing around. And then we do the scenes, and everyone had done their work, and how they do their work, their process is their business. But I do think that we worked in a similar way, is that we wanted it to be nice. We wanted to have a nice life, you know, and I don't think the work is improved by making it miserable on set. You know, I don't care what anyone says. And I think it was, for me, it was a wonderful discovery that my favorite actors work the same way.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much.
Live.